Okay, so before you dislike the video or comment that this is impossible, this is my very first theory video on Tower of God, and I just wanted to discuss this idea. I've been sort of turning it around in my head for a little while now, and I just want to share it with you guys. So hear me out, and if you don't agree with me, you disagree, and you want to talk more about this, let's talk about it in the comments down below. This is really just my thoughts on this theory that I've come up with regarding Anak and the Lo Po Bia family, so let's get into it. I've been thinking a lot lately about Anak in general. I really miss her. I wish SIU would bring her back. I have faith that he will sometime, but sooner rather than later, I hope. And I was thinking about her introduction in season 1 and about how strong of a character she was. Now, obviously she has the power of Jihad in her, just like in Dorsey and all these other princesses. However, Anak isn't a true princess. She's the daughter of somebody who is given the power. So that got me thinking, if Anak was the daughter of someone with this power, how is she so strong? Obviously, she's skilled, I'm not denying that whatsoever. I'm sure she's done her training and whatnot, and the Green April helped a lot with that. But we know she's really strong even without the Green April, sort of even on par with Dorsey, who is a full-blooded princess. Now, perhaps if you are the daughter of a princess, you get the full power of Jihad, but I don't know if that's really true. I feel like that would be kind of wild. I mean, maybe it's true, I don't know. But one way or another, it got me to thinking if it was possible that Anak is from one of the 10 great families, and I started going through the list, and the only one that made sense was the Lo Po Bia family. And the more I looked into this, the more connections I saw between Anak and the Lo Po Bia family. It's really interesting. Obviously, the big thing for me, and the thing that I'm sure a lot of you have realized upon seeing this video, is that the Lo Po Bia family is a family filled with connections to animals. Now, not all of its members are animalistic themselves. Some of them have a giant wingbird or windbird like Dekoko, or they have a giant monkey throwing balls at people, whatever. There are a lot of animal connections, but there are people who are straight up like part animal. Yasracha has cat ears and a tail, he rides a giant cat, and we found out recently, or fairly recently, that the entire race of canine people are in fact related to the Lo Po Bia family. On top of that, there are other cat people that we know of inside Yasracha's circle or gang or whatever. So we've got cat people and dog people that we know for sure are related to the Lo Po Bia family, but that's not all. Something that I found really interesting is that the only reason Yasracha was able to control Yama and the canine people in general was because of the blood that he gave them. So like the connection that they have to the Lo Po Bia family. And we've seen Yasracha control other animal people, specifically to Ra, a goat man. Yasracha was able to control somebody who wasn't a canine person, he was a goat person. Meaning, this goat guy is most likely related somehow to Yasracha or the Lo Po Bia family. It doesn't mean that he's like a direct descendant, like Lo Po Bia to Ra or whatever, but I think it's very likely, in fact, it has to be the case that he has Lo Po Bia blood inside of him, or he has some kind of connection to the family. Otherwise, Yasracha shouldn't be able to control him. Yasracha can't walk up to Bomb or Kun and start controlling them, right? They have to have the blood of the Lo Po Bia family or that connection to the Lo Po Bia family or Yasracha. So okay, that's cat people, that's dog people, and that's goat people, I guess. But there's also somebody inside of Yasracha's gang or circle, his division, his squadron, who has mouse ears. There is a person who is not a cat, or a dog, or a goat that is with Yasracha. And this person is a mouse. What we got? Nanatona, I totally remembered that name. Nanatona is part mouse and is a part of Yasracha's squadron. That's super interesting. Now, it's possible that Nanatona is not related to Yasracha or the Lo Po Bia family, but the fact that he's working under Yasracha, has a mouse ears and a tail, and is surrounded by all these other animal people, I don't know. I think that's kind of fishy. I think it's almost guaranteed that there is a connection there, especially since Tu-Ra is a goat, and we know has to be related in some way to the family. So you've got cat people, you've got dog people, mouse people, goat people. What about the bunny race? What about Shia and her family? We know that the rabbit ear race is trying to raise money for a certain cause relating to their family. They have this sort of financial problem. What if this financial problem relates to the Lo Po Bia family. Like they're overlords. I know that's kind of far-fetched and I don't really have a ton of evidence for this, but what else could their entire species be struggling with? If Yasracha, or whoever else in the Lo Po Bia family, especially Yasracha, has the power to control them, that affects the entire family, right? Like what else would affect every single rabbit ear and make every single rabbit ear need to collect money? Well, maybe it's because of Yasracha and the Lo Po Bia family. Many members of the Lo Po Bia family that have animal traits, they have like ears and stuff. And I don't know, Shia and the bunny people, the rabbit ear race, they have bunny ears. I don't know, I think there's a connection here. Again, it sounds kind of far-fetched, but there's not like that many animal people in the tower, and it's just interesting that all of them, or most of them, have some kind of connection or correlation to the Lo Po Bia family. Okay, so that's cat people, dog people, goat people, mouse people, and bunny people. Well, what about lizards? It's interesting because even though a lot of people do bring up her green skin and Dorsey calls her lizard and stuff, no one really talks about what race Anak is. Like, they're literal lizard people. They don't just have green skin, they have a green tail. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that because she has a tail, she is therefore related to the Lo Po Bia family, but I do find it really interesting that she is some kind of animal species, and we just went through all these different animalistic species that are related to the Lo Po Bia family, so it's something to think about. And it is really interesting that she is so skilled and so strong. We know people like Kuhn and Laro, ever since season 1, because of their connections to the 10 great families, have such innate skill. I mean, Kuhn, even though he's a light bearer, he chooses to be a light bearer, right, because he likes to control people and whatnot. In the Crown game, just like that, he bolted to the chair, stunned everybody. It's his 10 great family blood that's inside of him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Anak had some Lo Po Bia blood and was able to use that to showcase her strength as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but even if it's not Lo Po Bia, Anak is on par with Dorsey, who we know, by the way, is from one of the 10 great families. We don't know which one, but she has stated that she's from one of the 10 great families. It is also really interesting that the Lo Po Bia family has a weird interest in Anak, right? So obviously, Lo Po Bia Ren was sent out to kill her, but he works for Jihad. You know, you could argue that that's why, that there's not really a connection there, but Ren was also the one who killed her mother, or supposedly contributed in killing her mother. So he's the one who killed her mom, and now he's being sent out to kill the daughter. Like, I don't know, he also seems to have this like personal vendetta against her. It's kind of strange. We also know that the twin princesses Lilial and Shilial from the Lo Po Bia family also have this like interest in Anak. They were contacting Dorsey. I mean, I think their main thing is actually ruining Dorsey's climb, but they still bring up Anak and talk about her and her being a fugitive and an exile. And it's like, why all these members of the Lo Po Bia family? Like, what's going on here? This all may just be coincidence, but I'm trying to put the pieces together and see if there really is something going on. You may be asking, okay, but if she is related to the Lo Po Bia family, how come we don't know about it? How come the tower doesn't know them as Lo Po Bia Anak or something like that? And I mean, it's sort of similar to Dorsey's situation. We know Dorsey was adopted into one of the 10 great families, but she's not known by that whatsoever, right? I mean, she doesn't talk about it. Isn't that strange? I don't know, maybe it's because she was adopted into the family, but I don't know if all princesses are known by their family name as well. It's something to consider that Dorsey is from one of the 10 great families and doesn't really talk about it, so I don't know. To me, it's not that far-fetched to say the same for Anak. Also, it's possible Anak Jr. herself doesn't know. It's possible that she doesn't realize it, and it's also possible that they're related to the Lo Po Bia family, but they're not like a direct descendant. They're not Lo Po Bia Anak like Elaine or somebody else. Which, by the way, Elaine and Alphine also have connections to animals. We got Elaine with the wolf and Kaiser with the shadow fox. I don't know. There's just so much going on here. The last point that I'm gonna make is that many princesses are from the 10 great families. Like, a lot of them, like 75%. I'm like looking through the list here, maybe like 50% from according to the wiki, but there's a ton of princesses from the 10 great families. Aria Hornjahad, Aria Hagiferioni, Hegifariani Jihad, Eurasia N, Ha Yuri, Hendolok Gladmarie, Kun Maria, Kun Mashini, Lilial, Shilial. All these princesses are from the 10 great families. So, and like, even though not all of them are known to be from the 10 great families, we know that that Jihad often takes princesses from these families. So, I don't know, I think that's another reason why it would add up that Anak is in fact related to the Lo Po Bia family, because they have that strength. It would also be really cool because it means that a lot of the people from season 1 have these connections to the 10 family leaders, and maybe later on, I don't know when Tower of God's gonna end or how it's gonna go, but it'd be really cool if there were these connections, like you've got Kun and Kun Edwan, you've got Laro and the leader of the Eurasia family, right? Maybe even like Hots and Arye Han, I don't know, they're both swordsmen. And then Anak and the head of the Lo Po Bia family, I don't know, maybe, okay, I'm probably going a little too far with this, but my point is, there's some connections, I think, with Anak and the Lo Po Bia family. Maybe it's just coincidence, I don't know, but the whole animalistic thing is really interesting to me, the fact that a lot of them are part animal, and Anak is part lizard, but no one talks about it. It's really interesting, and combine that with all the other things I talked about, I think it's maybe a solid theory, not sure, but I thought I'd share it with you guys nonetheless. But there you go, that's why I think Anak could very well be from the Lo Po Bia family, or at least related in some way to the Lo Po Bia family. I don't know, maybe Yasracha will appear later on, and he'll control Anak. I don't know, maybe that's far-fetched because she's still a regular, but we'll see. Regardless, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm curious what you think about this theory, and if you have other theories you want me to discuss, also let me know in the comments down below. And if you become a $20 patron on my Patreon, you can actually suggest a video every single month. Theory video, lore video, discussion video, whatever you want me to talk about relating to Tower of God or whatever, you can suggest that and I'll make a video on it. So link to my Patreon is in the description down below. But thanks a lot for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Tower of God content. I release videos every single day talking about all sorts of things. So thanks a lot for watching. I will see you in the next Tower of God theory video. Take care.